There is a really strange friction right now between human imagination and the actual tools we use to express it. I mean, we carry devices in our pockets powerful enough to generate entire photorealistic worlds from thin air. But when you actually try to do it on your morning commute, you're hit with clunky pop-ups, spinning wheels, and an interface that just feels like it's actively fighting you. Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah, it really is the ultimate bottleneck for creators today. The underlying AI models are absolute genius, but the mobile user experience, it is often stuck in 2015. You get frustrated and you just close the app.
And that friction is exactly what we're tearing apart today.
Right.
We have a very specific mission for you. We're evaluating 5 of the most popular AI video apps on the market in 2026. We are looking at Google Flow, Runway, Kling AI, ImagineArt, and Hailuo AI.
Right.
But we aren't just reading white papers and drooling over spec sheets here. We are looking at how they actually perform on a smartphone,
Your hand.
on a crowded train.
Because desktop workflows are a totally different beast. You have multiple monitors, keyboard shortcuts, massive processing power. On mobile, if a layout is messy or if the touch gestures lag by half a second, the tool becomes useless. We're judging the tactile reality of these platforms.
Exactly. Does it open fast?
Yeah.
Can you finish a video without wanting to throw your phone out the window?
Yeah.
And crucially, is the final video actually worth watching? Let's start by looking at the current ceiling of visual quality. We're talking about Google Flow.
Yeah, and to really understand Flow, you have to separate the vehicle from the engine. So Flow is the app you're tapping on your screen, but Google's VR model is the actual engine running under the hood. And VO is a monster.
The sources highlight its pursuit of absolute realism. The way it handles motion physics and volumetric lighting is stunning. But I want to talk about how it actually achieves that, because it isn't just copying pixels. It fundamentally understands the physical properties of light.
Right. It creates a three-dimensional mathematical understanding of the scene. If you ask VO for a cinematic shot of a rainy street, it calculates how streetlights should bounce off the specific viscosity of those puddles. It's simulating reality, not just pasting a rain filter over a photo.
And their control scheme leans heavily into natural language.
Yeah.
You don't have to dial in X and Y coordinates. You literally just type pan left slowly or rack focus to the character in the background.
The AI implicitly understands cinematography, but the feature that's really turning heads right now is called ingredients.
Which I love, because I honestly still wrestle with keeping a character consistent from shot to shot myself, so that ingredients feature sounds like an absolute lifesaver. Usually when I generate a sequence, my character's jacket randomly changes color, or they suddenly age 10 years in the next frame.
Yeah, that happens because standard AI video essentially hallucinates every new frame from scratch. It suffers from what we call prompt drift. The ingredients feature fixes this by using your uploaded reference image as a strict mathematical anchor. It forces the AI engine to constantly verify every single new frame against your original image. It practically eliminates that hallucinated flickering. The illusion stays totally unbroken across 4 to 8 distinct scenes.
And it handles audio in the exact same generation pass. You get lip syncing that matches the generated mouth movements perfectly. Ambient sound and background score are just baked right into the output.
Right, and it brings in a Gemini-based assistant they call Agent. It acts like a co-director sitting next to you. If you're stuck on a scene, Agent analyzes your video and suggests dialogue or story beats to keep the narrative moving.
So on paper, it sounds incredibly powerful. But here's the massive catch. The mobile access is severely compromised. For a company with Google's resources, it's honestly baffling.
It is a notoriously rough experience.
Yeah. If you're on Android, you're relegated to a buggy beta app. And if you're on iOS, there isn't even a native app. You are forced to use the Safari browser to access a web interface.
Which means you're constantly pinching and zooming to read the menus. You lose all those smooth native swipe gestures your thumb is used to.
And this vacuum, the sheer lack of a real iPhone app, has created a very real security risk. If you search the App Store right now, you'll find a highly ranked app called Flow AI. It uses Google's color scheme, but it is completely fake.
Oh yeah, it's a completely predatory setup.
The fake app secretly calls APIs from completely different developers, like Cdance and Kling. An API is basically just a digital bridge letting two software programs talk. So the scammer uses Kling's bridge, slaps a fake Google interface over it, and charges you a massive middleman fee.
You're paying premium prices for budget generations just thinking you're getting VO. It's a wild west out there.
Plus, even if you navigate the real browser version, clips are capped at 8 seconds, and you're required to have an expensive Google AI Pro or Ultra subscription. I mean, I have to ask, Why does a tech giant like Google have such a fragmented, almost hostile mobile experience?
Porting a heavy web interface to a phone is brutal engineering. Mobile processors handle data completely differently than massive cloud servers. The UI frameworks required to manage VO's intense parameter controls. They just take months of optimization to shrink down for a tiny screen without crashing the device.
So the underlying tech simply outpaced their mobile app development timeline. 2-sec silence.
Exactly. The engine is fully built, but the car is still missing its wheels.
So if Google's barrier to entry is too high because you're stuck pinching and zooming on Safari, what's the alternative? You'd want something native to your phone, something that prioritizes absolute simplicity. And that is exactly the philosophy Runway took.
Runway has serious pedigree in this space. They co-released Stable Diffusion back in 2022. They fundamentally helped build the foundation of generative video.
And their current engine is Gen 4.5. What stands out in the research is their physics engine, particularly regarding complex geometry. It handles object collisions, like a glass shattering on a table or the way fabric moves in the wind, with terrifying accuracy.
But the real draw for mobile users is their chat mode. They completely redesigned the interface for smartphones.
Right. You don't mess with confusing slider bars or camera timelines. You just open a chat window and describe your video in a normal conversational sentence. You send a text, and a video pops out.
It taps into the way we already use our phones. It feels like texting a highly skilled animator. And because it syncs flawlessly with their web workspace, you can draft a quick idea while waiting in line for coffee and then open your laptop later to finish it.
But there are significant trade-offs here. First off, the true native app is iOS only. Android users are ironically stuck in the browser, facing the exact same frustrating limitations we just criticized Google Flow for.
Yeah, ignoring half the smartphone market is definitely a choice.
Furthermore, their free plan is severely gated. You only get access to Gen 4 Turbo. You're completely locked out of the impressive Gen 4.5 physics engine, unless you pay up. Clips max out as 16 seconds. And if you run into an issue, you're out of luck. Their customer support is entirely handled by automated chatbots that take forever to resolve billing issues.
You are definitely paying a high premium for that friction-free interface.
I have to push back a bit on this simplicity angle, though. I have played with these chat-only modes, and honestly, it can be incredibly frustrating. Using chat mode feels a bit like directing a movie from the backseat of a taxi. You can tell the driver where you want to go, but you can't control the exact route. Doesn't relying entirely on a chatbot take away the actual directing part of being a creator?
It absolutely does. When you converse with the AI, you are surrendering all those micro adjustments. You can't tweak the exact lighting angle, the depth of field, or the exact velocity of a camera pan. The AI is making 100 tiny creative decisions on your behalf.
Right, prioritizing pure simplicity ultimately means sacrificing your fine-tuning power.
You gain immense speed, but you're handing over your director's chair to an algorithm.
Which begs the question, if you are a creator who refuses to give up that director's chair, if you demand exact, precise movement, where do you go? That is where Kling AI enters the conversation.
Kling is developed by Kuaishou Technology, which is a massive tech player in Asia. To give you a sense of their power, Kling 3.0 currently holds 3 of the top 6 spots on the artificial analysis leaderboard.
And for context, that leaderboard is essentially the gold standard grading system, where the industry ranks how well these models actually perform against human evaluations. They sit just behind ByteDance's Seedance and Alibaba's Happy Horse.
But their true superpower is a feature called motion control. This completely flips the way we interact with AI video.
Usually you type a prompt trying to describe movement, like make the character do a backflip with a slight twist. But words are clumsy. With Kling, you don't use words at all. You just upload a sample video of someone doing a backflip, and your generated character mimics that skeletal movement pixel for pixel.
It maps the physical geometry of your reference video. It is pure visual instruction, which is invaluable for complex choreography, fight scenes, or highly specific product demonstrations.
Speaking of products, Kling is incredible at rendering text. If you put a brand logo on a coffee cup, it stays perfectly legible as the camera moves around it. Combine that with a very low entry price, and it is heavily favored by marketing creators.
But the ecosystem is quite rigid.
First, watch your billing statements. There are reports of quiet price bumps when subscriptions renew. Second, because it operates on a China-based platform, it adheres to very strict content moderation. Prompts that touch on sensitive political topics face heavy automated filters, We aren't taking a stance on that. We're just noting it as a functional reality of the tool.
Yeah, but the biggest pain point for users is their aggressive credit system.
Right. Unused credits expire at the end of the month. But the brutal part is that credits are deducted even if a video completely fails to generate due to a server error. How does losing your paid credits on software bugs actually impact a creator's daily process?
It introduces massive psychological friction. It creates generation anxiety. If you know every click costs money, even if it fails, you stop taking creative risks. Every prompt feels like pulling a slot machine lever where the house always wins.
Yeah, getting charged for software errors definitely kills the experimentation vibe. 2-sec silence.
It actively punishes users for trying to push the boundaries of what the software can do.
We're going to take a very quick break, but when we come back, we're looking at a platform that tries to replace all these specialized apps with one giant workspace.
Stick around.
Sponsor. Welcome back to the deep dive. We spent the first half of this looking at apps that are hyper-specialized. Flow is obsessed with realism. Runway wants everything to be one sentence. Kling demands precise motion. But what if you are suffering from app-hopping fatigue?
Right. What if you don't want to export a photo from one app, email it to yourself, open a second app to animate it, and a third app to upscale it? That is the exact problem ImagineArt is trying to solve.
It is the ultimate all-in-one suite. They packed more than 50 different AI models into a single mobile application.
The ambition is staggering. They essentially built dedicated studios for image generation, video creation, timeline editing, 4K upscaling, and even audio mixing, all under one roof.
And crucially, it's available as a true native app on both iOS and Android. No clunky browsers. Plus, it syncs seamlessly back to their web platform.
By keeping everything in one ecosystem, they completely remove the friction of file transfers. It's a massive quality of life improvement for casual users.
They also built a native prompt enhancer to help beginners. A prompt enhancer is essentially a secondary AI that takes your plain English idea, like a cool space battle, and automatically translates it into the dense technical jargon the video model needs to actually render a good result.
It bridges the gap between your imagination and the software's strict formatting requirements.
But being a jack of all trades has inevitable downsides. Because they spread their resources across 50 different models, the individual features lack the cutting-edge depth of the specialized apps. Their video model can't touch Google Flow's lighting. Their motion tools feel archaic compared to Kling.
You're trading peak performance for broad, generalized utility.
And if something breaks, you are essentially on your own. Users consistently report waiting multiple days to get a single support email answered. Plus, just like Kling, your unused credits vanish at the end of the month. So I'm curious, can a beginner-friendly, generalized tool like this actually be used to produce professional, commercial-grade results?
In a professional pipeline, no. It can get you about 80% of the way there very quickly. But commercial workflows demand absolute surgical precision. You inevitably hit a ceiling where a generalized tool simply cannot execute a highly specific creative vision.
It's the Swiss Army knife approach, maximum convenience over cutting-edge depth. Beat.
Yeah, the Swiss Army knife is great for a weekend camping trip, but
Yeah.
you're not going to use it to frame a house.
Which brings us to the final app on our desk today, Hailuo AI. ImagineArt gives you a convenient workflow. But what if your workflow is pure volume? What if you are a social media creator who needs to post 5 videos a day and you need blisteringly fast speeds on a shoestring budget?
Then Hailuo AI is your undisputed champion right now. It is developed by Minimax, a company that recently pulled off a $4 billion IPO. They have massive funding and insane computing power.
The primary selling point here is raw, unadulterated speed. Most of the models we've discussed make you wait several minutes for a single clip to render. Hailuo generates high-quality videos in 30 to 90 seconds.
It fundamentally changes the rhythm of creation. You aren't waiting around for a progress bar.
And it is dirt cheap. It
Well-
costs roughly 30 cents to generate a 10-second clip.
When the cost of generation drops that low, it completely alters the economics of running a daily YouTube or TikTok channel.
Stylistically, Hailuo has carved out some very specific niches where it dominates. It is phenomenal at generating anime. It renders traditional ink wash painting beautifully. And it excels at those highly polished video game cinematic styles.
But what really caught me off guard was their physics engine. Given the speed and the price, you'd expect the physical interactions to look floaty or, cheap.
But it handles fluid dynamics remarkably well. Things like pouring liquids, splashing water, or shattering glass look highly realistic.
I mean, whoa. Imagine generating broadcast quality liquid physics on a smartphone in under 2 minutes. 10 years ago, that required a massive server farm and 3 days of rendering. Now it happens while you're waiting for your bagel to toast.
It's kind of mind-bending when you put it in perspective. But Hailuo also carries some of the biggest red flags in the industry. Like ImagineArt, their customer support is virtually non-existent. Like Kling, the credit system is incredibly strict, charging up to 80 credits per attempt and still deducting them if the generation fails.
And then there's a rather massive legal cloud looming over the entire platform.
Right. Minimax is currently facing a massive copyright lawsuit. Several major film studios are actively suing them, alleging that Hailuo's speed and quality were built by illegally training the AI on copyrighted movies. What is the actual practical risk that a corporate lawsuit poses to an everyday user just making videos on their phone?
Well, if you are just making videos to show your friends, the risk is zero. But if you are a creator actively monetizing that content on social media, you are vulnerable. Social platforms use automated bots that scrape videos for stolen intellectual property. If the courts rule against Hailuo, the platforms could issue mass takedown notices or strip the monetization from any video that looks like it was generated by their engine.
Basically, stick entirely to original ideas to avoid any legal crossfire. 2-sec silence.
Definitely. Do not ask it to generate recognizable characters or franchise locations. Keep your intellectual property completely original to shield yourself.
So we've unpacked the mechanisms, the trade-offs, and the sheer frustrations of all 5 platforms. We've synthesized a massive amount of data. What's the bottom line for you, the listener?
The overarching takeaway is surprisingly simple. There is no undisputed best app. Reading a spec sheet is useless because the value of the tool depends entirely on the specific friction of your personal workflow.
You have to map the app's strengths to your biggest pain points. If you demand perfect volumetric lighting and audio sync, you have to grit your teeth, deal with a clunky Safari browser, and use Google Flow.
If you hate complex menus and just want to text your phone to make a video, you download Runway.
If you need a digital character to perfectly mimic the exact dance moves from a video you recorded, you tolerate the strict credit system and use Kling.
And if you want to generate a video, upscale it, and add audio without ever switching apps, you grab ImagineArt.
And if you just need to churn out 10 anime clips an hour without going broke, you use Hailuo.
You cannot analyze your way to the right answer. The ultimate truth is found in the tactile, physical experience of actually using the software.
And that is your mission for today. Pick just one of the apps we talked about. Download the native app right now, or pull up the web interface if you have to. Try making just one single 10-second clip. Don't overthink the prompt. Just feel how the interface reacts under your thumb. See if the pop-ups drive you crazy, or if the layout instantly clicks with your brain.
Get your hands dirty. It's really the only way to truly understand where mobile AI is actually sitting in 2026.
And as you watch that first video render in the palm of your hand, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. If we can already orchestrate perfect lighting, fluid physics, and lip-synced audio from a piece of glass that fits in our pocket, how long is it until we are generating entirely personalized, interactive, full-length movies on our morning commute? Out to row music.